Okay, so that's us done parts 1 to 9, and I'm going to start working on the wee legs now. So we're done with this, we actually don't need this anymore, and because the next two parts are made separately, so you make the legs separately and then we just join them on. Let me get things together, move this camera around, there we are, and turn it upside down, and again we just want to organize all of the pieces. A lot of these pieces on the legs kind of look similar for the left leg and the right leg, but there's not too much to figure out. There's only two legs. So we're looking at this page here for which part goes where. And I've noticed I've got terrible lighting in this room, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'll bring a lamp next time, yeah, so we know where we are. Some of these folds are pure ripping apart. Oh dear. I should package them a wee bit neater, shouldn't I? This is why I do prototypes. This is my prototype. So this part is this leg, and this part, oh, I don't know which leg this is. How will I figure this out? I don't know. I don't know how to tell which leg is which. So what I'll do is I'll put them both on top of each other, and still don't know. What's the difference? So one's got a bigger cut. The bigger cut on one side. So we've got a bigger cut on the left here of number 16 and a bigger cut on the right. Let me see. I'm problem solving. Maybe if I fold the parts, it'll make it easier to see. If I fold these edges, I'll be able to see the definition of the legs, so the wee feet. And that'll help me figure out what part is where. So I think maybe when I'm cutting or printing this, if it's too difficult to figure out, I tend to write the page number or the part number on the inside. So if we hold them both from the middle and the top, yeah, one side is more angled, and that's the only difference. So 10 is more angled on the left, and 16 is more angled on the right. There we go. You figured it out. So this is 16, this is 10. And it's good to sort of separate your actions so that you're doing one thing at a time. I'll actually number the parts and then fold the parts instead of like doing 10 things at the same time. Like instead of numbering this part and then folding it and then gluing it, I just number all the parts in one go, and then I fold all the parts in one go. Part 14. It's only difficult if you make it difficult for yourself. There we go, 13. Should be 19 then. This is number 18, is it? Oh, it's number 12. And this is number 18. It's great if these parts are coloured, so it's a lot easier to see what's at the top, what's at the bottom. Unlike the yellow parts. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then number 15, top of the leg. And then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, we've got all the parts. So we'll start off with one leg first. Number 10. And let me fold all the parts before I start off. Again, one by one, just take your time folding all these parts. And that lets you focus on one thing at a time. And you get to enjoy each process as it comes. If you can do one thing, then just do one thing. I'm not very good at multitasking. That's why I enjoy papercraft. Because you only need to be good at doing one thing at a time. If you can do one thing at a time, then you're going to be pretty good at papercraft. So 1, 2, 3. But if you start doing like 3 or 4 different processes at a time, oh, it's going to get complicated. At least for me it does. So when I'm doing this, I'm not thinking about, oh, how am I going to join it on? How am I going to fold it? How are these going to join together? Just enjoy the folds. 11. So I the fold here on the bottom. This is part 11, right? Yes. I forgot to number it. And this is going to be the front of the foot. It's the little widths of the webbing. It's not important to fold all the diagonal folds. The diagonal folds are always the least important, but it's important to fold sort of straight lines, the completely vertical ones or completely horizontal ones. The diagonal folds are just for a wee bit of show, to make it look cool and triangulated. Because triangles are cool. This is actually a valley fold. There we are. Got some sharp folds everywhere. No need to do the diagonals. And on to the next part. 12. A lot of these folds in this model are pretty random in the goose model. I don't know why. Usually things are quite organized. You know, you get a big set of mountain folds, or you get a big set of valley folds. But here you've got random valley folds and random mountain folds. I think that makes it look really nice actually. Once you're done with it, you've got like this random effect going across the goose, and it makes it look more biological. Whereas normally you're working through it and you're making it, and it looks really. Most of my models look pretty unnatural, which is pretty cool as well. Number 10. This does not need to be folded because it's a flat based foot. But putting fold lines does give it a wee bit of definition, you know, it gives it these wee cool triangles. So starting off with number 10, we always work in order. And let's see what the instruction says. Yeah. The instruction says exactly what I'm going to do. Part 10 and part 11. The main thing is seeing where all the seams line up. That's what we're focusing on. All the seams line up at the back. Which part's the top, which part's the bottom? That's the only question. And you can sort of figure that out by sort of like ghosting this over the top. And if it sort of lines up, then it's correct. And this does not line up. So I'm guessing it folds on this way. Yeah. Small part, the big part, the big part, the big part, big part, small part. Yeah! That's how you figure it out. Oh, it's like a big jigsaw puzzle. You can only attach in one way. And for this part, I'll keep it simple. Creating like bird feet is always interesting and fun to do in papercraft. There's a Farfetch'd from Pokemon that I've made, and it's a really fun model. I'm halfway through making it. That'll be fun to show off sometime. Here we go. Getting started feet done. I'm going to get that little thickness. So it looks like a real goose foot and not like a flat piece of paper. I find that these details are one of my favourite. In papercraft, creating the small details, sometimes it's like the most, it looks the most difficult to do, but it's also really rewarding when you do it. It looks so beautiful if you take your time and, you know, add all these small details. Things are they lining up correctly? They're kind of lining up, also kind of not. I wonder if we've got part 10 and part 16 for the two flat. So this might be the left foot when actually I'm trying to do the right foot. That sort of deal going on. And I'm just trying to figure it out. Seems to be okay. I'm just struggling with this one part, that's all. And if you do mess up, you can always rip it off. And the mistake will only show where people can't see. That's always good. If you made a mistake, you can just peel it off. I think the two bottom of the feet are so similar that it's not really a mistake if you get it mixed up. Sometimes like both sides of like wings or feet or arms or whatever are identical, so it doesn't really matter if you get the left or right mixed up. And over here I think they were just almost identical to the point where it really doesn't matter. I was listening to a really nice song yesterday. Don't know what it's called. Ringo Biori? I don't know, if you type in Whistle Around the World into YouTube, you'll find it. And this is a happy song about sunshine and sparkles. And it's sung by, it's an English song. Like, all the words are English, but it's sung by a Japanese lady. And she the way she pronounces the English words is really fun. So it makes the song like 100 times more wholesome. You've got to listen to it. Like, if you listen to that song once, you're gonna be like whistling to the song all day. From this anime called Spice and Wolf. I think I've seen the first couple of episodes when I was at the anime club at the university. I never really paid attention when I was at the anime club. Going to anime club was a weird experience. It was fun, but I don't know, I just couldn't get invested into anime when I'm watching it with a group. Sort of like the idea of the anime club, you know, getting all the anime nerds together. But I didn't want to watch anime with them. I liked being with them and talking with them, but I didn't want to watch anime with them. Especially like emotional stuff or stuff where you're going to get attached to. It's a little bit more difficult to sort of open up and attach yourself to stuff and take things seriously, especially when you're in a group with half of them being your friends and half of them being strangers. But that was a couple of years ago. I feel like nowadays I'm a lot more open in public, both with my friends and with random people. But really, that level of attachment that you get to anime, that's something deep, you know? That's like true, you know, hits the essence of your soul when you get attached to an anime or an anime character. That's another level. I don't know. I need some more practice of being that open, you know. Like, sometimes when you watch a really good anime, you're just crying. Although I'm pretty open on, although I'm pretty, you know, expressive about everything I do, I'm still not like, I've still not let myself free when it comes to like crying. But, you know, I'm making an effort. I wanna be more emotional and like relatable to a very human degree, not to a very societal degree. Like, I just want to talk about my emotions and what I like and what I don't like. This part's all flat and we can just put pressure on it like this. Yeah, that's the start of our foot. So that was part 11. So part 12 is this part here. Puppet foot. And the seam joins at the back. That's what I remember. And yeah, that's what you do with papercraft. You think about it for like 1 second. Like 1 second of problem solving, and then a full few minutes of actual therapeutic action. Enjoy each part. This part's a wee bit difficult to put on some pressure, but I can do it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on this part. There's all these it's really difficult to sort of get your finger in to apply pressure. Sometimes it's hard to talk when you're doing these really tricky parts. I'm using all my brain to figure out how to apply pressure to just one point. Sometimes it's helpful. I've seen some papercraft people use tweezers to apply pressure. What I do is I just make the model really, really big, so I never have to use tweezers. Sometimes if you're working on wee tiny parts, and I'm like, nah, man. I go into Pepakura and hit scale up 3 or 4 times. Those are my tweezers. Man, Pepakura is such a good piece of software. I was showing it off in the last video, about halfway through. You'll see it. There'll just be like a big white box in like the top corner over here, and it's a good piece of software, you know. Shows you exactly everything you need to do, and it's all free. I'm glad that people do make things sort of accessible and free. There are things that, you know, do need to be paid for, but there's also stuff that should definitely be free, like public transport and healthcare and the ability to view papercraft. Some of them are not free, some of them are. And we're working towards making things more free and accessible. Because when I started off papercraft, I had no money at all. I still don't have much money, but I literally had like 0. And I didn't really have a lot of equipment. I really loved art, but I studied at the School of Art, and all the equipment was at the school, but I didn't have any equipment at home, and at the time I was suffering a lot of like health problems. I couldn't make it to the school to enjoy what I wanted to do, so that's how I picked up papercraft. I'm like, I want to do something in the house. I want to make stuff with the equipment I've got in the house. And that's when I stumbled across papercraft. All I needed was a printer and a knife. And what I'm doing here with my sort of papercraft kits and stuff is telling people, listen, you don't even need a printer or a knife to get started in papercraft. All you need is resolve. You need courage, belief that you can do it, and you can do it. And maybe you won't get it done the first time. If you really want to make something, you can definitely do it. There's nothing stopping you. There we are. Cool thing about papercraft is you can just make whatever you want. Make any 3D model. And you chuck it in Pepakura. And you make it whatever size you want. And that's you done. That's part 12. Part 13. This part is part 13. That's the next one up. Things are they're not sticky, things are like falling apart, it seems. So I'm gonna put a wee bit more glue here. Get it stuck together. Put a little bit more glue here. And just let it dry. Give it a wee bit of time before you start on the next part. Yep. There's no need to rush. It's good to sort of give the paper some time to dry before you go into the next tab. And that will give you that'll stop things from slipping off. The reason I don't really need to give it time to dry is because I use so little glue. So it almost dries instantly. But let's give each part, if you're finding your parts are like falling off and not really sticking, it's probably because you're not giving the glue some time to dry. It's a matter of patience. And you just let it sit, you put it down, and you're like, alright, I love my life. So you've got a big hole over here. So what I'm gonna do, I've got a paper clip here that I've unfolded, and I've got the metal, so this paper clip was covered in like a rubber coating, so I cut off half the rubber coating. I've got a wee metal stick, and then I'll be able to apply glue this wee tiny part inside that wee hole. Give it a wee spread. And it's also good to clean up sort of the extra glue that sort of falls off the side, because that will leave a mark if you leave it there. Not a very big mark. That's a wee tiny mark. These are small marks, these small mistakes that you make in papercraft aren't noticeable most of the time. But sometimes it's fun to be perfect, you know. You can allow yourself to be perfect in papercraft. There we go. And again, just wait for it to dry before you move on. You don't want that coming off again. It's all about patience. The slower you go, the more fun you'll have with this. And if you're ever stuck on any part, literally, go slower. That's always the answer. You go slower, you'll always be able to do it. Always. Go slow, take your time. And you'll get faster and faster with time. Can't really rush it at all. It's only with experience and time, you know, can you get faster. And this little flap in here to finish off the model. Today I'm not really in the mood to sort of perfect any of my papercrafts. I just want to record some nice videos. So as long as it's done, you know. Sometimes when I'm making paper crafts for myself, or I'm challenging myself trying to make a wee complicated one, I do like to take time and sort of make it perfect. But I've already done this model before, so don't feel that desire. Part 14, this attaches onto the same part. Again, the seam nearly always lines up. So I don't even need to check the instructions. I know where this is going. The seam is over here. Lovely jubbly. We'll just wait for that to dry, yeah. Before we go on to this next part. Yep. I need some water. I'll let that dry. I really love these shapes. The shapes always come out so nice. I think every single paper craft that I do, I'm always really impressed by the end. Even the ones that were like a total flop, once you take a photograph of it, you sort of look at it from a different perspective. I mean, some of my paper crafts literally were falling apart as soon as I completed them. And you can always find a good angle. You can always find a good angle to finish off in. There we are. I wonder if I can turn up the brightness because it's looking pretty dark here. No, it's pure making it laggy. There we go. Yes, I've got these automatic settings on my camera, and we almost get it right. I just sort of need to sit in there and do it myself. It's not too laggy, is it? I'm not moving that fast. How about if I do this, right? And I'll just put the brightness like that. Go with some artificial brightness. Okay, that's looking good. Now I can actually see what I'm doing. Part 14, and then let's look over here. We've done here, 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 and here, and we're in part 15, which is the white part. I'll look at my instructions and look for part 15 here. So is it this shape? It looks like this shape. Check, that's not part 21. Nope, that is not part 21. This is part 15. So let's write 15 in the middle. And fold all the parts. that. A valley fold and a valley fold. 1, 2, 3. Man, these folds are so nice. It's absolutely crazy. I've got a wee machine that makes all these wee fold lines for me. It's so fun just doing perfect folds without having to think about it. That's part 15. And part 15 as well joins along the same seam. So let's do that. The seam is over here. And yeah. Okie dokie dokie. And the good thing is after you definitely know you've got the right piece because you've been taking your time to number things and fold things correctly, you can sort of move on with confidence that this is in the right place. So if you take your time numbering everything, take your time folding everything, everything will definitely go correctly. You can trust me in my instructions. Yeah, that's the one thing you can trust me with. You can't trust me with sharp objects or anything in the kitchen, but you can trust me with my instructions. You can't trust me to do shopping either. I feel like I always buy the wrong stuff whenever people ask me to do stuff. Don't know how. But like, I remember my mum asking me to buy lettuce and I bought cabbage. And she asked me to buy chicken and it came out with lamb mince. And since then I've just been banned. I'm not allowed to do any more shopping. That was too far. I still don't understand how I managed to get lamb mince from chicken. There we are. And this sort of joins at an angle. Oh, let me see, you didn't wait for it to dry. And this is sort of coming off. You can sort of feel it. Again, there's a wee tackiness to it once it's dry. Just a few seconds really. The other thing about this white paper is you can't really tell where you've placed the glue or how much glue you've placed on. A lot of the other models that I've got have a lot more uniform design, a lot less thinking. That's part 15, and what I do now, and you attach this on separately to the body, but let's work on the next leg. And it's pretty much the same deal, you know? Dun, dun, dun. I think this is part 21. Let me double check. So this is the top, this is the bottom. You can check if it's the top by folding it. And if it folds easily, then that's the top. So 16, I think I remember how to do this. Oh, I haven't actually folded these, so let's fold them before we get started. Yep, that's part 16. 17. Oh my god, it's part falling apart at the seams. Right. Which part's the top? They both look the same. This is so symmetrical. Again, no need to do the diagonals if you're finding them difficult. Those are just for show. And then you get the top here. The top is all in one direction. Apart from this last fold here. Last fold's going the opposite direction because it wants to be difficult. It just wants to ruin my day, you know. Has something against me. Doesn't like my shirt. That's probably what it is. I like my shirt. Here we go. 1, 2. Oops. 1. This is this side. And oh. This is one leg. And this is the other leg. Yeah. No. I'm very confused. I think I've done this upside down. Yeah, I've done this upside down. This is the bottom. And this is the top. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there we go. Let me attach this on before I get confused. If something that's confusing, you know, just attach it on. I don't need to think about it anymore. At least one part. At least attach one tab on before. Because otherwise I'm going to lose sight of which part's the top and which part's the bottom. You know. There we go. And let's focus on folding all the rest. So this is part 18. It's pure wacky folds here, man. What's going on? Dun, 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 dun. I find it easier just to fold all the folds one way sometimes and then put in the red folds and the blue folds just to sort of loosen up the paper. Makes it easy to put in those dastardly red folds. And there we go. This is a valley fold. And then fold, valley fold. And that's everything. And now I need to fold these ones up the way. That was a confusing part. Okay, okie dokie. Part 19? That's part 20. Part 19. 2, 3, 4. These folds are actually outrageous. Half of these valley folds that shouldn't exist, but for some reason in my models they do. So what I generally tend to do is get a friend to do all the 3D editing and 3D modeling for me, and I do all the like papercraft design. This is one of the models where I was doing a lot of the 3D editing, so that's why it came out so wacky. It looks really nice though. I think the wackiness gave it a lot of style, you know? You'll see it once it's done. All the funny folds make it look really cool. And the last part is part 20. This is actually part 20. Yeah, part 21. And there we go. I've got that happy song playing in my head. Whistle around the world. Do, 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 do. Yeah. And now all of these edge flaps sort of go up the way, don't they? And this one goes up the way, this one goes up the way, this one, and this last one here. There we are. And what I'll do is let's start on part 16, where we left off, had half of it fallen off. And the good thing is I've done the hard part, which is aligning the first sort of anchor point, and the rest of it comes easy. One flap at a time, don't get greedy, don't get hasty. You can do it. If you want to put pressure on, you can, it's a flat piece, you can put it on the table, place your finger on it like that. Sometimes I like to place it on the table, and sometimes I just like to put pressure on it from my hand. And sometimes I like to put glue on the part, and sometimes I like to put glue on the edge flap. You just do whatever you feel like doing at the time. There's no right or wrong answer. Your own papercraft, you can do whatever you want with it. And if you want to have a redo, you can always just either ask me for more, if you want a big A3 print with all the folds in it. Or you can just go online and print your own, you know. I'm doing this too quickly, so that's why it's falling apart. It's because I'm using a lot of glue as well. I think we've salvaged it. And if you do find you're going too quickly and that things are falling apart, just take a 2-minute break, you know. Take a 2-minute break, I'll start going slow again. I don't know if you can hear it over. Hoover's right above my head. Brum 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 brum. We've got like no, like, what's the word called? Not sound defense. Yeah, but we've got no sound defense, right? So it's under attack with all the sound from upstairs. I cannot remember the word. Sound barrier, sound, you know, soundproof. We got no soundproofing. got no sound defense. And we've got no lights either. But we do have a ton of room. We've got such a giant room here. There we are. And the cool thing about this room is that it's so far away from everything else. So when you enter this building, you enter from upstairs. And my room is, you need to go across the corridor and then all the way downstairs and then all the way across the corridor again. And it's so good. I can just sort of be in isolation, far away from everybody else, and do wee papercraft videos. That's the life, you know, that's the life. What more could a bear ask for? And yeah, this is all joining up pretty well. Put a wee bit of glue all the way at the bottom there. And plenty of pressure. Yo, this is coming along nicely. I like these shapes. We're off to the next part. It's already all folded up, and I can just focus on gluing. Don't need to focus on, oh, what part is this? I know this is part 17, 18, whatever the next part. And I know exactly where it goes. Got a cheat sheet next to me if I need some help, but it all lines up at the seams. And man, I've actually not done papercraft in quite a while. But once you get started in it, once you're invested in a model, it's so fun to just work through it. You just want to complete it because you know all the answers, you know exactly how everything comes together. But the process of actually doing it is so fun as well. There we are. Oops. A wee bit glued in there, a wee bit glued up here. Don't worry about the wee tiny holes you get. Nobody's gonna see them. Once you've done a few models, then you can start thinking maybe, you know, about doing a perfect papercraft model, if you feel like it. But if you're just doing papercraft for a wee bit of fun, then do it for a wee bit of fun. No need to put pressure on yourself to do an amazing thing. Just do whatever you want to do. There's always more papercraft to enjoy online, to download. Always ask me, print and cut one out for you. Or you can just print and cut out one for yourself. I really like making instructions, these wee kits for papercraft, because it means I don't need to look at computer screens when I'm making my model. And that sort of frees you up, because I can just sort of make this on the dining table instead of being in my room, or I can make this in a cafe, or you know, just do whatever. Dun, 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 dun. There we are. I don't think I've put enough glue on, so I'm going to undo this. And I'm going to take a break for a second. Wait for that glue to dry up. Get my breath back. Focus on my breathing. Might just undo another part, why not? And, you know, once I'm happy again, go back to gluing. Don't annoy yourself for making a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. It's fun to make mistakes, you know? Fun to go a bit backwards. Don't blame yourself. If you mess up, you can always start again. It's all about being patient. It's all about taking your time. And being nice to yourself. And when you do that, you'll see you can make some very beautiful things. Everyone can do it. Everyone can make really nice stuff. Everyone can do some good work. Everyone can be nice to other people. But first you need to be nice to yourself. There we go. Give yourself some space to create. Give yourself some space. Dun, 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 dun. There we are. Number 19. Again, this just joins up at the seam at the back of the leg. I cannot remember if this is the right leg or the left leg. But if I look at instructions, I'm sure it'll tell me. And I don't really need to know while I'm making it. I always really love the way like lines come together and join together in papercraft. It looks really beautiful. And you get a really strong low poly look. Something so natural, but it's what I enjoy about papercraft. It's a really unnatural look. Even though we are creating a very biological sort of creature. It's the contrast between those two things that makes it really exciting for me. I'm not sure if making an inanimate object that's supposed to be low poly would be cool. But I know making biological stuff in this really unnatural style looks really cool. Especially because we're presenting this in a physical medium and not in a sort of digital medium. So when we're making papercraft, what I find is that whenever I'm making something digitally, I really prefer the types of things that look real. And whenever I'm making something that's physical, I really liked things that look unreal. So when you see a really beautiful painting online on the computer that's been digitally made, it sort of blows your mind. The same thing that I find in sort of the physical realm, where if you make something that looks completely digital, it just sort of blows your mind. There we are. So we're making a completely unreal duck foot right here. He asked me 8 years ago if I'd be doing this. I'd probably say I'm terrible at art. I could never be making weird duck feet. But here I am. I can do it. I only really started off doing art when I was 18, 19. I only really started doing papercraft a couple of years ago when I was 21. There we go. But I know a lot of people started doing papercraft when they were about 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old. Some in their teens, early teens. No matter what age you are, I always find when I sort of do things when I'm older, I come at it with a lot more style and experience. All those years I've built up doing other stuff somehow get expressed in my art. Art isn't all about skill, if at all. I think art's all about expression, about showing who you are to the world. This is me, this is my life, this is what I've done. This is how I'm going to tell you. There we go. And I find one of the biggest expressions in papercraft is patience and appreciation. There we go. So I hope papercraft will make people more patient and more appreciative. When you see the results of the things that you create. Just by taking your time. That's all there is to it, really. Just take your time and you'll be able to do any papercraft. There we are. We've only got 3 tabs left. And after we join up all the tabs, I believe we'll be attaching this on to the main body that I threw away at the start of the video. That's interesting. We're about the same time in from the end of the last video. Like each page that I do is about 1 hour and 7 minutes. Or 1 hour 10 minutes. I feel like the length of this video and the length of the last video are both 1 hour and 10 minutes, but also they're both 1 page long. That's pretty good. One thing I tried to do when I was designing the pages is make the pages about 1 hour long so that people wouldn't get addicted. I feel like it can be too addicting if you've got a lot of parts on one page. Your brain kind of forces you to finish off the page before you take a break, and I want people to take a break. That's important. Important to remember to eat and drink and do all that kind of stuff. So I think these feet are a wee bit wobbly. So what I'll do is some tissue paper here. Put some weight. I wonder if this will even fit in. Even if it doesn't fit in. No. I want to put a weight at the front foot here. So what I can do, I don't have my knife and stuff with me, but you can take out a square and then put in a wee bit of tissue paper where it's wobbly. And glue the sort of patch you put back on. And nobody's ever going to notice it. Even if they look at it, it's really difficult to see a patch because it's the same colour. I've done it in plenty of my models. Let's see. Let's get my big goose. So which foot is which foot? So 15 is this side and 21 is this side. And how do these legs even attach on? Oh my goodness. Let's read the instructions. Let's drink some water. $15 goes on this side. And I feel like all of these parts should be valley folds. I'm going to fold these all up today. And I think it is almost figured out really. So, oh, the seam, no, it's a bit difficult to see. Here we go, here's a butt view here, and I'm able to see how it joins on. So here's the seam, and if we go 1, 2, 3. Now there's a little piece here, so this is where there's a little flap. I'm doing onto the little flap here. See, it's like a big jigsaw. Got it. So what I can do is, you don't always have to start off from the edge. I don't have to start off from the edge here. Just glue on a bit on the middle here first, and then work my way around. What I'll do, put a wee bit of glue on that tiny part. And I'll attach a tiny part to a tiny part. I'll put a lot of glue there. But I use you can use the middle of the part for your anchor point. And that's completely fine. Just wait for it, put enough pressure on it, wait for it to dry as always. If you're struggling, just take your time. Find it difficult, let's go slower. Finding it annoyed, drop the piece, take a breather, come back to it and take your time. Don't rush it. Enjoy it. There we go. go. Oh yes, awesome. Again, no need to move on to the next part until the last part's dry. Once it's dry, then then go on to the next part. That's how you're going to create that rigidity. When you create that stability by taking your time. And just use all the space you need, because this goose is big. This is actually a really big paper craft. That makes it even more fun. And a wee bit more glue here. We're almost done. Got one more leg to do. Attach on. And if you are making any mistakes, you can just take a break, take a 2-minute break, and rip the part off slowly, and you should be able to redo it. And the thing is, it is paper, so if parts rip off, you can just replace it with a wee bit of scrap paper, make a wee patch. One of my favourite models is a big Yoshi, and he's covered in patches. He's got so many patches everywhere. And the thing is, you can't notice it. You can't notice that he's covered in patches. I think you can sort of guess where each part goes. I'm just going to double check where the model says. So you can see here it's like a blue line and a red line. So that means one of these is a downward fold, one of these upward fold. Turn them upside down. Get the same view as this, and the seam is up here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And there's no harm in just sort of going with your gut. Because if it goes wrong, you can just take it off. Just remember not to be too harsh on yourself if you make any mistakes. Don't blame yourself. Blame me. You'll be... Oh, fubs. Why did you make your instructions so bad? And I'll be like, the world is harsh. The world is cruel. But if you want to make the reality that you want, you gotta work hard for it. No excuses. You can blame me all you want. Just don't blame yourself. You're doing your best. And I think making mistakes is fun. It'd be kind of boring if you did everything perfectly. Part of the story, part of the learning curve, you know? Make mistakes. I've probably made like 100 mistakes in this video in terms of like my lighting and, you know, my camera position and maybe my volume. Who knows? But you know, just enjoy it. Let's have fun with it. Because I'm always going to be making mistakes. Yeah, there we go. So I think that's the second page done. Yep, that's everything there done. And I wonder if he stands. He's not got his butt. No. I feel like there's something terribly wrong here. His feet are not joined on as they should be. But you know what? I'll figure it out next time. It looks okay to me, you know. Look at this. This is quite funny actually. So we'll turn this upside down. And then move this around. Something off about his feet. He should bounce upright. Like these 2 feet should be flat on the ground. But for some reason they're both not flat on the ground. They're sort of like skewed. So what I think I've done is one of the feet is like turned around by 1 extra rotation. I think it's is it this one? Or maybe I've put the feet on the wrong side. No, I don't think I've done that. But something and the way to fix it is just to sort of rip off each flap 1 by 1. But there is a correct answer. And I can't be bothered figuring it out right now. Maybe next time we will. It looks pretty good though. We did do the legs properly, we did do the head properly. And I'll figure out what's wrong with these feet. Maybe if you look at the front here, right? And if you look at these instructions, if you look at the final image here, that'll help us. Yeah, I feel like this leg's causing a lot of. That looks perfectly attached though. Oh, I know what it could be. I know. So they're attached in the right area, but I've attached an extra flap. So all of this leg is attached to too much of part, the sort of underneath part. So if we look at this butt view over here, half of the leg should be attached to one part and half of the leg should be attached to another part. And I've attached too many parts. So if I rip off a couple of flaps, from the sides, and what we'll do is we'll calibrate where to put these flaps on after. What I'm doing is peeling off the flaps one by one like this, and we'll calibrate where to put the legs after we put on half of the rest of the back. Off slowly. One part at a time. And the good thing, all of these like scars are on the inside of the model. All these wee marks are on the inside of the model, not on the outside. I'm 100% certain that this attaches here, but I'll remove it anyway. I feel like I've not attached it all well, and that might be part of the problem. Part of the problem might just be, oh, I've not glued it on. I've glued it on with a wee bit of twist in it, or and yeah, I'm not gonna bother myself figuring this out right now because my brain is fried. It's been an hour. Now I'm gonna take a break. So I'll catch you later.